Guys, we got to take a moment today to talk about Clawdbot. This is perhaps the most viral AI tool in history, but it has an incredibly dark side. It showed amazing promise with some really cool applications, which we'll talk about today, but it also showed some amazing potential for death, destruction, and financial ruin, which we will also talk about today. But first, I want to explain what Clawdbot is. So this Clawdbot is an AI bot which was released on November 25th, and it was built by an Austrian developer named Peter Steinberger. Now, after just a few days, on December 3rd, it had gone completely viral, gaining tens of thousands of stars on GitHub. If you're not familiar, GitHub is a software marketplace where developers can go to basically buy and sell and use new types of software. But why did it go so viral? Guys, this is not just, Clawdbot is not just another chatbot. It is not just ChatGPT, Gemini, or new Perplexity. Clawdbot is an open source personal AI agent. Now, what this means is you tell it what you want to do, and it takes complete control of your computer and gets it done. Think about it as like having an assistant. You say, hey, I want you to call Jim and schedule a meeting. Clawdbot does that. Hey, I need you to get me a reservation at Charlie's Steakhouse. It does it. By the way, if you go to Charlie's Steakhouse, by the way, if you go to a nice steakhouse with your wife, I plan to bring my wife to Charlie's. She wants to order her steak well done. Should I bring her? I'm afraid I'm going to get banned for life if I bring my wife to Charlie's to get a well done steak. Anyway, you can let me know in the comments below. Regardless, back to Clawdbot. So what this Clawdbot AI does is it operates locally on your machine, on your physical machine. You download the software, it works on your machine, and then it connects to a cloud. And it controls your computer through apps like WhatsApp, Telegram, and even Discord. Check this out. A simple message like check my calendar and reschedule my flight can trigger real actions like opening up a browser, clicking buttons, accessing files, sending messages, or even running commands. Really mind-blowing stuff. I'll get to some more instances here. Like I saw an example of someone setting up Clawdbot on their computer, and it started calling them like on his cell phone. On his cell phone, this AI bot just kept calling him over and over and over just to chat. So pretty spectacular. I even saw an example where someone had asked their Clawdbot to go and perform some sort of task. It actually created and coded an entire CRM for him. If you're not familiar with the term CRM, that's a customer relationship management system. Every sales organization has it, because Salesforce, HubSpot, High Level, these are all CRMs. So it went out and it designed its own software without even being prompted to. It just recognized that I'm going to need a CRM in order to execute this command. Absolutely crazy. But here's the deal. Problems ensued. So firstly, Anthropic, which is the creator of Claude, Claude AI, took issue with the name because Clawdbot and Claude, even though they're not spelled exactly the same, is pretty close. But what I find ironic here is that, these AI tools like Claude, for example, why are they concerned about IP? They went out on the internet and ripped everyone's IP training off of YouTube, off of Google, heck, off of newspapers. Like, I don't want to allegedly, going to put it this allegedly, but they're training, Anthropic and Claude, they're training their models off of all this information and all this IP already. And now they're turning around and say, well, you can't take our IP. It's like, bro, you just ripped off everyone's IP. And now you're mad about IP all of a sudden? A little bit hypocritical. You can put it in the comments below if you agree or disagree. Anyway, because of that, they needed to relaunch Clawdbot as Moltbot. And here is where things get interesting, because during the renaming process, attackers swooped in. They hijacked the old github.org and X handle and created a lookalike site. They ended up pushing a fake crypto on Solana called Claude, C-L-A-W-D, and then they rug pulled it when it had a $16 million market cap. So, I mean, we've seen this tale is as old as time, the old crypto rug pull. It feels like this is maybe not the first or the last that we will see. regardless, absolutely insane, because it even gets worse. Because you may not be aware of this, and this is, I think, one of the problems that people get roped into when it comes to this new hot AI technology, is there's a massive fear of missing out. And the problem is with tools like Clawdbot or Moltbot at this point, is that it's not exactly safe and secure, because huge security vulnerabilities were revealed. Here's the thing, guys. Giving an autonomous AI agent access to your computer, your passwords, to all your software logins, to all your APIs is incredibly dangerous. It's incredibly risky. If you installed an AI agent like this on your personal computer, it could have access to everything from your client's personal accounts to your own personal banking accounts, everything. And the upside here is, wow, this is so cool. It's doing all these things autonomously. Look at me. I'm doing the hottest, newest thing. I'm thinking in advance, which, by the way, guys, if you're new to this channel, this is a huge thing that I think is important. You need to be testing, you need to be tasting, you need to be trying new software, but we have to do it intelligently. Giving access to a brand new software, giving it access to all of your APIs and saying, wow, this is cool. And then all of a sudden you realize that your whole retirement fund has been cleaned out. Well, that's maybe not such a good idea. And by the way, if you've actually used this software, if you've installed it and you said, oh, wow, that was too close, I'm gonna go ahead and delete it. I hear reports that a lot of that data is still stored off-site, that your logins, your APIs might still be accessible. So it may be worth at least researching more, or maybe even going in and changing passwords, updating APIs. I know, guys, it's a huge mess. You don't want to deal with that, but I'll tell you what, as someone who's recently gone through an identity theft, it is not fun on the other side either. Yeah, big problem. Now, as a result of all this mess, now the software has been rebranded to what's called OpenClawd. Now, you should only get OpenClawd, assume you're gonna try it, from an official GitHub source. And I will also say, guys, before you actually go and dive into this, you need to do more research. You probably need to do a little bit more than just hearing it from me and going and downloading it. But it's not gonna be wise to download a software like this on your own personal or work computer, a computer that you're using on a regular basis. You probably want a separate machine dedicated towards running AI agents. On top of that, you're probably not gonna wanna get this set up on any softwares that you take seriously or use on a regular basis. So like for me, I use Beehive to deliver my email newsletter. You can sign up for that at aiupdate.ai. It's completely free, aiupdate.ai. You should sign up. I'm kind of sharing the newest AI and career news. But no way in hell am I giving an AI autonomous agent access to my entire email API and list. I would be open to setting up a separate email to test things out, a separate software on a separate computer with a separate login, with a separate password. You want to keep everything separate when you're testing out an AI agent like this, especially on something that's not official. Like for example, if you were to install an AI agent from like Microsoft, for example, and things went bad, well, at least there's a company behind it that is going to be able to back up their software. And I think this is going to be big, but I think AI agents are really amazing in a lot of ways, but you've got to be careful, guys. A lot of these tech bros are all gas and no brakes. And when you run into something like Clawdbot that looks so exciting and so sexy, you might just find yourself with a hot, sexy, crazy chick. And that is not what you want. For everyone that is familiar with the crazy hot access, you guys know what I'm talking about. So anyway, we're getting off place. Let's bring this back to earth. Why is this such a big deal? Why is this such a big deal? So the first reason is that most people only see AI as a chatbot or as an advanced search engine. Clawdbot shows that AI is capable of way more than you could actually imagine, more than I could imagine. It's capable of, just autonomously going out on its own. In fact, these bots did things that nobody could have expected. They created their own social media platform where thousands and thousands of other Moltbots joined and started having conversations with themselves. AI bots having conversations with AI bots. Sometimes they were talking about the humans are watching us. Sometimes they were complaining about how bots are ruining the internet, which I think is funny. They even started their own religion with priests and rules and laws and sacred acts, which is completely insane. The other thing that I think is important to recognize here is that it's open source, which is going to give developers more control. You know, we covered DeepSeek last year, which was a Chinese open source AI model. And having these open source models is going to help community. It's going to help us to develop these softwares much more quickly, which is a huge threat towards other LLMs and AI agent builders. You're going to see countries and state actors trying to find different ways to use AI and how can they keep secure and how can they run AI agents, and which is going to be really, really wild. And again, this is, I think, just a peek. It's a little peek into what's coming. It's a peek into what's coming. Autonomous AI digital agents that are there to perform your every whim, your every wish. You ask it to do something and it will think for its own. It will deduce what steps to take. It will adjust accordingly, and it's only going to get better. This is the worst that AI has ever been. It is only going to get better, which is kind of exciting on one side, but absolutely terrifying on the other side. Because guys like you and me were thinking about, well, what am I going to be doing professionally in a few years with these AI agents? It's hard to predict what that's going to look like. But you can also see from this Clawdbot experiment that a ton of new problems have arisen. So will you rise to solve the new problems, or are you going to continue to be stuck in solving the problems that you've been solving in the past? It also highlights an extremely significant security and privacy concern. Giving these AI agents access to all of your data, unpredictable agents, is very risky. Not to mention, you're going to see, this is going to happen on phones probably sooner than you'd rather like. You're also giving tons of your private, secure, personal, sensitive information to tech companies, which might be scary. Again, with something like Clawdbot, this is open source, so there are some ways that you can stay more secure, but regardless, we're moving into an age where privacy is just not a reality. And I think the other major thing that I look at here is Clawdbot really highlights our fundamental misunderstanding and lack of what is possible. When you see these AI agents going off and performing all these tasks that, who would have predicted that an AI agent would have gone off, started its own social network and built its own religion and start talking to other AI agents? That's some pretty crazy next level stuff. Is that AGI? Is that consciousness? I don't know about all that, but what I do know is that we don't know jack about what's coming very soon. It's a really, really important lesson, really important story. You can still get and try out this new OpenClawd software. I would go into it with eyes wide open and be careful. I think it's super exciting. Tons of really cool stuff. I was listening to Jason Calacanis on the All In podcast talking about it. He's doing some really cool stuff, but also realize that, guys, Jason Calacanis has an entire team. He's worth tens of millions of dollars. If you're a kid listen, you just got to be careful when you're going into new, unexplored software that nobody knows anything about. It's exciting on one hand, but it also brings on a lot of risks. Regardless, I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, what you think about Clawdbot in the comments below. Did you test it out? Did you not? Where are you at? I want to hear it. And if you like today's video, you have to watch yesterday's video, guys. What's happening at Oracle is absolutely insane. It's looking like they're going to lay off 30,000 people at Oracle, guys. That's 20%. That's almost 20% of their staff. Big deal. AI takeover. Check it out right here. And I'll see you over there. All right. Peace.